Hey guys, it's Bernadette. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Tuesday, September 3rd. I had to check the calendar. Oh my gosh. All right, so it's been an interesting 4 days. And if you are like me, you've probably been a little inundated with lots of people's energies, especially if you're sensitive. If you've never watched me before, my name is Bernadette. I am an empowerment coach, a spiritual teacher, mentor, and a psychic. So I am here to help you guys navigate your spiritual walk. Say hello when you get here. Hi, Valkyrie. I don't know why I have to comment on my own video in order for comments to come up, but I do. So how you guys doing? Everyone made it through the weekend. If you're here and you're still kicking, good on you. But hi, Kelly, you did get alive. Yay. You're on the Isle of Man. Yes. Welcome. I like saying that. Where do you live? The Isle of Man. I live far away from men. Hi, Lou. All right. So the energy is calming down slightly, but we definitely had a big energy of overwhelm over the weekend. And today, people are feeling more agitated and frustrated than they are depressed, which over the weekend, lots of people, hi, Mark, lots of people are pretty down and depressed and overwhelmed on the sad side. So let me clear this up for you. Sadness, hopelessness, depression's on the lower end of the vibrational scale, under anger and under frustration and irritation. So if you are feeling angry and irritated and frustrated, but you're no longer feeling hopeless and helpless, right? You're a step up on the vibrational scale. So be grateful for that. Like that you're no longer, wanting to hurt yourself or give up. Maybe you're wanting to hurt other people. It's still a step up. Just don't get stuck there. Keep climbing. All right. I mean, in reality, that's the deal. Still kicking, but trying not to let outside forces influence me. Perfect, Gail. That's perfect, perfect, perfect. There's a lot of people that teach and preach that you got to be happy all the time and hold a high vibe in that place of happiness. You can't always be happy. We're not always happy. There's contrast, right? In this world, you can look at something and be saddened by it. You want to feel all of the spectrum of emotions, but you don't want to get stuck in any of the lower vibrational emotions. But sometimes we have to process our pain, process our grief. And that's why, honestly, you guys, it's better to acknowledge where you're at than to fight it. And when you get overwhelmed with emotions, like what's been happening over the course of the last few days, and you get stuck up in your head, and Virgo can be a very mental-like energy, that's when you get blocked from moving forward. So first and foremost, don't get overwhelmed. Don't let your ego talk you into that place of there's too much to do. I don't know where to start, right? Because the ego will go there, and the ego will blow things up and make them things that aren't even in front of you, just in your mind, what's coming. It will take that and blow it up. And sometimes even what is, it will make it be a mountain when really it's just a molehill. And your job then is to turn that mountain into a molehill, right? Take the power away from the ego. And you do that by always knowing that everything is always working out for you. Everything always does work out for you. Everything's working out in this moment. And like I said, if you've gone from sadness and anxiety, now you're angry and frustrated, it's a step up. You're getting there. I had some oat nut bread that I made over the weekend. I have little nuts that keep coming out of my teeth. I apologize. Anyways, the other thing I want to tell all of you, I know some of you, because I've talked to you, are facing huge circumstances in your lives right now, whether you've got a parent who's ill, you're moving, you're struggling financially, you're changing jobs, whatever, health issues. Like I've talked to so many people in the last week that are facing just enormous shifts and change and transformation. And I want to assure you that when I tell you, you will get through this and you will be all the better for it. I'm not doing it from the standpoint of I read it in a book somewhere. Like I'm not. I have been through many levels of hell in my life. All right. I've told you guys several times and shared my story, right? And I will continue to share my stories with you of overcoming the overwhelm, the anxiety, the giving it up. My ego loves to blow up situations, right? It does. It takes these things. And then when you actually face the actual circumstance, it's not half as bad, not even a third bad as the ego wanted to make it seem. Hi, Bernadette just crawled into bed after a tearful eagle battle today. Luckily for me, I found you on my screen. Ah, hugs, Anita. I know a lot of you guys are reeling. I can talk today from these emotions and these energies, and they're not all yours. And I get it. I do. But, oh, she passed away. I am so sorry, Lisa, for him. And I know the grief is a process for him too, one step at a time. Had to drown out some intense energy, get grounded in Lake Chelan over the weekend. Good for you. Good for you. I would rather have been at Lake Chelan this weekend than doing garage sales and marketplace offer up stuff. But sometimes we have to do what we don't want to do, right? Sometimes we have to face things. And trust me when I say, you guys, like it was a huge job. I literally, half of my garage was full of boxes and boxes and items that had to sell because my dad really wants to park in the garage. I have given up my parking spot in lieu of a Bowflex. So on my side of the garage where I would normally park, because I don't have to leave early in the morning and deal with frosted scraping of the windows in the winter, I've given up my side in lieu of exercise equipment because it's very important to me that I get strong in my back and not have to have surgery. But that job of selling things that weren't even most of it, like 95% of it, 97% of it wasn't mine. It was other people's in my life, in my household. So going through it all, listing it, selling it, dealing with people, because my daughter hates dealing with that stuff. My dad doesn't know how to post stuff online, and he was not game for doing the yard sale thing, although he'd pop his head out and micromanage us occasionally. It wasn't my idea of a fun weekend for Labor Day, but I had to get it done. And at first, Saturday morning, I was pissier than pissy because I was having to do it and it wasn't my stuff. And then I was like, why am I taking on this energy? This pile of junk looks overwhelming. And you can look at the whole pile. There's a reason I'm telling you this story, so pay attention. You can look at the whole big pile, that whole half of the garage stacked all the way up to as high as it can go for the garage door to open and close. Or you can just take this one box at a time and just one item at a time and stop thinking about how unfair it is and why are you having to do it when you would rather just load it into the back of a dump truck and take it to the dump or go to Goodwill. Why am I having to do this? So I stopped with the whole pile thing because it was very overwhelming and just started box by box and moved things out into the driveway. And then I set up some tables and I set up some tarps on the ground, and then I put item after item out. And you know, within an hour, it was all up and ready, and we put our signs out and sold stuff. I'm down to one tiny area of things that didn't sell after donating a big lot full, but I did get through it, right? I did my best. The family pitched in at the end. We did our best to sell what we could, and we donated the rest. We didn't really dump much. Like I dumped one box of just stuff that Goodwill wouldn't take. My reason for telling all of you is this: you can look at the pile of shit you have to take care of right now in your life. And maybe you have, issues going on with finances, issues with health. You have, I don't know, the tax man knocking at your door. You're trying everything you can to get over your emotions, and your ego is just like, it's too big of a job. I can't do it. It is too big of a job if you look at the whole pile. So do what I did with my garage sale stuff and my garage this weekend and take it one item at a time. Just handle one item. Focus on that one thing that you can move out of the way, and then go on to the next thing. And stop thinking about how many more things are behind that. Focus on one thing, just one. And before you know it, that pile is going to be whittled down. Felt the difference between the weekend to this evening. Went to shop and it was raining. Felt great. Good. Yes, the energy is much better today than it has been all weekend. But I have had several people that have been battling spiritual battles and depression and grief and suicide thoughts, and all weekend, like from Friday on. And lot of people that are Virgos have been suffering greatly with overwhelm and anxiety that's not even coming only from them. It's their egos blowing things up. It's other people's energies hitting them. So I know, especially now the kids are going back to school, those of you who are parents, there's one side of you that's relieved and the other side of you that's like, oh my God, my whole schedule's changing again. Don't get overwhelmed with that either. Like, don't. One thing at a time. All right. It's true about our spiritual walks too. When we look the whole, like, I talk to so many people that want to grow their gifts and want to grow spiritually and want to improve their health and want to improve their relationships. Okay. One thing at a time. One of the things that I require of my Charm Life students is that they take on Charm Life with one main issue they want to change, one main area of their lives that they want to see shifted and changed. So one thing, you work on one thing, you work all the way through the videos, the exercises, and the coaching on one thing before you go on to the next. That way people won't quit. That way you get the shifts to occur. You can't change everything in your life at one time. You can't. Like, you can move physically, but like residences physically, but not deal with the grief and, settling into the new place all at one time. Like, your energy changes when you move, your mentality changes, your routine changes. You can't do it all in one shot. It has to be done, right? One thing after another. When people try to change everything in their lives, I seriously, it is like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You're trying to throw everything up and take care of everything at one time. No wonder you're overwhelmed. And the ego wants you to think that you have to handle everything now. It has to be done now. Can't be done in 5 minutes. It can't be done in an hour. It can't be done tomorrow. It has to be now. So many people call me and have called me in the last week, and they're like, I need this and I need that, and it has to be by then. And I'm like, why are you worried so badly about it today when it's not even, the deadline isn't even for another week or 2 weeks? Like, throw it out to the universe, believe that it can be taken care of, and take the next step. What's the next step? Not what are the 100 steps to get to the end goal. What's the next step? What are you presented with right now? One of the things that I try to get people that are working with me with their traumas and their past and overcoming hurts is to get them to focus like where we are right now, because the ego will take you and spin you through the images in your minds, the movies in your minds, and get you very, very stuck in past failures and this happened and that happened, and you tell stories around it, and pretty soon everything just sucks. Like, anyone that and I know you guys know what I'm talking about, because my head is not the only head that analyzes data that quickly, where it will pull the movies from the past and then bring it into the present moment and go, this is going to happen because it's happened so many times, and I have this incident, that incident, and my whole history, and tell a story around it, right? And what seemed already stressful now has become this humongous mountain in front of you. Don't let your ego get away with that. Forget about what's come before. And I don't care if it was just 5 minutes before. I don't care if it was 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 hours, 5 years. It doesn't matter what happened in your past. If it isn't happening in this moment, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. What you choose to do and focus on in this moment is what will take you to the next step in your journey, and ultimately to the destination that you're reaching for. And if you feel like crap right now, all you need to do is choose to focus on what you can be grateful for and what can I do right now, right? When I look at cleaning my house even, and it's a big house, right? I look at it and I'm like, ugh, got to do the bathrooms, you got to do the kitchen, you got to do the floors, you've got to vacuum, you've got to dust. Yeah. And the windows, like super overwhelming. But if I just go, all right, I need to start laundry. No overwhelm there. Like I can look at the whole job, or I can look at what can I do next. And once laundry is started, then okay, what's next? One toilet. Not all the toilets, one toilet. But the same thing works with our emotional issues. It works with our reaching our goals. It works with balancing and juggling everything in our lives. We have to prioritize, and we have to break it down into like steps. Otherwise we get completely lost. And the ego does want you to just look at all of it and go freeze up and go, you're not strong enough. You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. You have to be able to take things one thing at a time. So for all of you who've been feeling it, and the intensity of it, because we're in the month of Virgo, it's very detail oriented, right? And yes, the ego wants you to know every single step in your plan of how your month is going to play out, how the rest of the year is going to play out. And I'm telling you right now, you can have a big picture and destination in mind, but you just need to know, what am I doing right now? And what's the next step? That's all you need to know. Let the universe line the rest up. And don't think that you're not going to know the next step after you finish the current step, because you will. You honestly will. Yep, one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 hour at a time, and other times it's one moment at a time. If I can take a breath in this moment, I'm still alive, and there's still a chance for an amazing outcome. And if you can look at life like that, your life will shift and change. I promise you, it will. But if you look at, but I'm going to tell a story about what happened and how I feel and how it made me feel and who's at fault, and I'm going to make myself feel guilty, or I'm going to make myself, be afraid and ashamed of what I may or may not create in the future, you're going to lose yourselves. If you're not in my Soul Fast program, go check that out, because as far as like really getting control of the ego stuff daily, that's a good program, and it's a daily reminder and new lessons every day for 30 days. All you have to do is go to my website, bernadettegold.com, and click on Soul Fast. But if you've already done Soul Fast and you are ready to take it deeper, please get into Charm Life, and let's get things handled one thing at a time. Within a year, your whole entire life will look very differently. And the way you handle things, it won't even be the same, because you won't be the same. The point of that class and those videos and lessons is to get you connected to who you really are, and remove from you all the things that are blocking you from connection to your source energy and your higher self. When you get there, life is magical, right? Some of these lessons that I teach you guys on live streams are the very things I teach in Charm Life. I just don't go into depth here on live stream. And there's only so much time that I have to go into depth. So if you want to come work with me and learn from me and release all of your baggage from the past, I invite you now to come and join. And those of you who are empaths and are overwhelmed, go get into the Empath Masterclass. And if you need help finding that link, just hit me up and I will send you right to the page. All right. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Yes, it's intense. But I think we'd be bored, right? If it was super easy. If it was easy, and it's kind of like, I've been on so many road trips across the Southwest because I used to live in Colorado. There are parts of New Mexico, for any of you who've been through New Mexico, that are just like, blah. It's flat. And while there's some mesas, it's very deserty, and it's just like, blah. It's boring. It's so flat, and there's nothing for hundreds of miles. There's nothing. But then you get into like parts of Arizona and Utah, and it's holy crap, mountains and beautiful vistas and amazing puffy clouds, and the road's more windy. And you know what? That windy road is way more exciting. Same with Colorado, same with Washington. Like, it just, while it's not the same around every curve, It's majestic, it's beautiful, it's intriguing, and it's fun. We wouldn't want life to just be like this solid straight line. So don't complain when things get overwhelming. It's just your chance to rise up to the occasion and show yourself how strong you really are and what you're capable of. And like I said, I'm not telling you guys this because I haven't been through it. I've been through it more times than I can count. And I can tell you, at the times when I thought that I couldn't go on and I wanted to quit and I wanted to kill myself and I just wanted to go to sleep and be done, I look back and I am so grateful that I didn't. Someone said to me the other day, can you count the number of people that would have killed themselves had you not told your story, had you not been there to help support them? And no, I can't. And I'm grateful for that. But back when I was going through it, I didn't think that. I actually thought that there was no purpose in me being around. And there would never be a purpose. It's funny how the ego goes there too. Like never, always, right? You're never going to make a difference. Your life's never going to amount to anything. These are the things I used to say to myself. And I heard said to me from my own mother, right? So I would go through periods, and I remember one really low period. I was like, you would be doing everyone a favor by just not taking so much air, not eating any food, and not being around. Like, just get out of the way. And my ego had me convinced, on top of some spiritual warfare that I was doing and some dark entities. For a minute there, I was convinced. That was many years ago. And for not amounting to much, for my life not amounting to much, I think I've done pretty damn good. I've brought 2 beautiful daughters into the world, and I've helped a lot of people and continue to help. So you don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't care where you are, how old you are, how bad things look. I've been there, I've done it, and I've overcome it. And where I am right now, looking back, you couldn't have told me that I was going to hit this place in my life 20 years ago, 30 years ago, however long it's been. But I did. And I'm glad I get to be here. I'm glad I get to hold other people up. I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger and get it right when I tried to kill myself. So I'm not telling you guys things that I haven't already overcome. I'm teaching you things that I believe in because I know they work, right? And I know it sucks, and I know it feels bad, and I know sometimes you don't want to go on. Fine, lay on the floor, set a timer, 15 minutes, cry your eyes out, throw your temper tantrum, scream at the top of your lungs, and at the end of 15 minutes, get up and go on. Just one thing at a time, one step at a time. Even if you can't manage to take care of yourself today in the best way possible, just do one thing for yourself and go on. All right. And if you're angry, I'm telling you, give yourself a break. Far better than feeling depressed and hopeless. Anger is a step up. Frustration, step up. Irritation, step up. And then we keep going until finally we get laughter and joy and acceptance and love, right? Get there one step at a time. Hi, Maya. So you guys have a good day. If you're in Patreon, I'm going to jump on here shortly and do the numerology sometime in the next 2 hours. I've got a couple of appointments I have to get to. And then tomorrow we will do the monthly. And I'm behind a little bit, but this holiday weekend kind of threw me off. And this stupid garage sale thing threw me off, but it's done now. So I am grateful. All right, guys, go to it. One thing at a time. Don't look at the whole big picture, the whole big pile. Don't. All right. Get details. One thing. What's next? What's next? What's next? And that's it. Just one thing at a time. That's how you get through this. I'll talk to you guys later.